Hello there, welcome to Showcase. This year's winner of the Contemporary African Photography Prize is Mozambican photographer Yasmin Forte. She uses her lens to highlight her homeland's colonial past through collages. Here's more.
The streets of Mozambican capital Maputo and her family's history are two main influences behind Yasmin Forte's work. Her parents met at the height of the Portuguese occupation in Mozambique.
Do meu pai, que é alguém que é português.
In this work, I tell a story about my father, a Portuguese soldier who came to Mozambique with his mom and dad, lived here for many years, and went to the army. That's why we have the picture of him in a military suit. He lived in a town, that's why we have the buildings on his face. And my mom, born in a simple home, made with clay, and who later on moved to a big house. So what I try to do is cross these stories, to join these two stories. It's my storytelling using the pictures I glued together. I combine the past and the present.
Contada pela fotografia, ou seja, colada.
The city is the perfect source of inspiration for Forte's work. Every landmark has significance both for the history of the country and for her family.
So this is one of the places that appear in my work. It is where my father grew up and did his military training. They used to be in this square for the military parade, singing. This statue never used to be here though, but he was baptized in Mozambique and went to this church. It's also one of the places where I developed my work.
Forte fell in love with photography at a young age, and she uses collages to juxtapose past and present. With her latest prize, she hopes to reach wider audiences.
It's the recognition from the CAP Award. It's the doors that open. And in the world of photography, I think that the eyes will be open for the work that I do. It's an excellent moment that I have to show my work and to show the world what I do.
Forte works hard to dissect the effects of colonialism and migration on Africans. And she hopes she will become known for documenting African history.
India has a long history of film censorship, but critics say the industry is going through one of its toughest periods in recent times, as anti-Muslim films are on the rise with support from the Hindu nationalist government.
The Kerala Story is the second highest grossing Hindi film of 2023 so far. It's about a Hindu woman who converts to Islam and is then radicalized. The makers of the film claim the picture is inspired by many true stories. But critics have accused it, and other recent releases, of spreading lies and fueling divisions by vilifying the Muslim minority ahead of next year's national elections. These films share the same ideology with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, which has organised free screenings of the movie since its release in May.
And we have seen that in the past in India also, that people have ended up promoting the films, the politics, the icons of the ruling party and of the ruling class. The same thing is happening in India since 2014. It's much more now because this is possibly in the last several decades, this is possibly the most ideologically propelled regime India has ever seen. It has a clear-cut ideology.
Kashmir has never been an integral part of India, and
The Kashmir Files, 72 Hurain and Godra are other recent films that have been criticized for their anti-minority rhetoric.
These movies are all mouthpieces. Say you pay money to a lawyer to do a production, presentation and say lies. So it is similar to a chart sheet, production and presentation. Whoever pays the money, the filmmakers will work in line with the wishes of the financier. Just like when the government says or the police says, the chart sheet is made accordingly. You cannot go against them.
And for veteran filmmaker Sadir Mishra, it's important to have conversations about current issues. But on the other hand,
there is definitely an attack on Bollywood, I'm on the margins, and I don't agree with. We are not one homogeneous whole where we agree on anything. But in this matter, I think we should all be united and speak as one. And I may have my own difference of opinion and complaints about my industry, which I have a right to. But I definitely think Bollywood is being attacked and singled out, and there is an agenda behind it.
On July 31st, clashes that went on for a week between Muslims and Hindus in Haryana state caused the death of 6 people. Meanwhile, the ethnic violence in Manipur state continues. And with Modi seeming to have the upper hand in next year's elections, such films could soar and add more fuel to the fire.
Murals have taken over the walls of a Bulgarian village, and the artworks featuring an unexpected blend of world leaders, cartoon characters, and cultural icons have turned the village into a vibrant cultural hotspot.
This is Staro Železare village in central Bulgaria. Just like any other small place, the most common pastime is sitting on benches and talking to neighbors. But the people here also have some unusual companions.
A lot of people here in the village and other villages, they go out of their homes, sit on the benches afternoon and wait for somebody that passes by and have some small chats. And we decided also to the project to invite some, important people from the world of politics, culture, some celebrities to come here and to sit on these benches, painted, of course, symbolically coming, just to the place that is not known of anything, but here is the center of life, of the knowledge of life.
Over the past decade, the village has become popular for its murals. Each passing year brings fresh additions to this artistic tapestry, courtesy of a project orchestrated by the Polish-Bulgarian artistic duo, Katarina and Wenceslav Piryankov. These murals are brought to life by their students, who find inspiration in global news, culture, and history.
I think Venci has come up with a great idea here to do something different in the village. And so for us as art students, we come here, we learn something, and we got walls to paint on. And the village then has something that generates people coming into the village, and hopefully that helps the village, survive and people and generates interest in people coming here.
In this artistic adventure, students don't just sharpen their art skills, they also use their creativity to react to global events.
For artists, art is a great way to express their feelings, their emotions, with the war especially. So it's a great way of expressing, the frustration that we have inside about the war and actually the meaningless war going on right now.
The artists say this project mirrors a globalized reality, where a granny from a quiet Bulgarian village can get to sit next to a superpower leader.
Is the atmosphere a vast library storing every word ever spoken? According to the computing pioneer Charles Babbage, it is. Babbage's vision was the starting point of the Sydney Science Festival's headlining exhibit, Atmospheric Memory. The show dares visitors to imagine a world where everything is remembered.
The Sydney Science Festival is an annual program presented by the Powerhouse Museum that runs for 10 days in August. It aims to pique people's interests in what science is capable of in a series of performances, seminars, and exhibits. This year's theme, Trace, focuses on the marks humans leave on the environment. BAFTA-winning artist Rafael Lozano Hammer's show, Atmospheric Memory, is one of the key exhibits in this year's festival, as it is designed to make air into something tangible.
The spirit of the project is, can we make contemporary art installations that try and make evident the voices in the atmosphere? What would it look like? What would it sound like? It is only with the participation, with the implication of the viewer, that the project has a meaning.
Atmospheric Memory premiered in 2019 at the Manchester International Festival. It took 5 years to produce a spatial story machine activated by the viewers through sensors, sound environments, light, vapors, and interactive installations. The artist aims to drive visitors to reflect on the ecological crisis and the lasting effects of rapid industrialization.
There is this kind of return to thinking about the atmosphere not as something that's neutral and beautiful and poetic. It's that, but it's also the site for, the current battles that we have for the survival of the planet.
Each of us has
The exhibit also includes 50 objects from the museum's collection. One of the key highlights is Babbage's Difference Engine Number 1, a mechanical calculating machine that anticipated the structure of the modern computer. Atmospheric Memory will be on display at the Powerhouse Museum until November 5th, inviting visitors to scan the atmosphere for voices and transform them into something they can feel.
Once a businesswoman, now a designer. And for this Australian pensioner, age has nothing to do with creativity. The 69-year-old has been hailed as an emerging artist, and she thinks that's hilarious. Take a look. Stephanie Reynolds has discovered her passion for creating couture using various papers, which is her main medium.
I had always been involved in theatre when I was younger, so I had always had this great love for design and fashion and making things.
Reynolds' studio is filled with costumes and dresses made from paper. For her, paper doesn't behave like a textile, and that's what makes the results unpredictable and exciting.
That's tissue paper, and this is a very fine Japanese tissue, so you can see how unbelievably delicate that actually is.
After a long career as a business management consultant, Reynolds decided to revive this old passion of hers. In the past 12 months, she has held a fashion show and had a solo exhibition.
I would love if more older people didn't keep on with the story that they're not creative, because it's just a story we've learnt somewhere in our lives. I reckon everybody's creative.
And now some of her pieces can be seen in an exhibition at the Launceston Queen Victoria Museum and Art Gallery that focuses on 10 emerging artists.
Emerging art is not based on age. And there's a great tradition of artists throughout the world who haven't actually done their seminal works until their 40s or 50s. So emerging can happen at any time.
Reynolds hopes to inspire others to try something new, and our next challenge is to get her works to be shown around the world. Until recently, Native American representation media hadn't been strong, but the show Reservation Dogs won acclaim for challenging that. And now it returns for a third and final season.
Hey, did you know that an Indian invented potato chips? Can you please just go? This Gunagahage guy invented them. Yeah, he was half black, half native.
Ooh, don't start talking to yourself.
It's true. Can you believe this guy?
Reservation Dogs tells the tale of a group of young Native Americans. They live in a reservation in Oklahoma. and do what many people their age do, hang out.
You're on trash duty.
Maybe next time you'll think twice about running away and not telling anybody.
Why am I here? I didn't even go to California.
It's called probably cause.
But that's what gives the show an edge. It sets the kids up as leads, as they lead their lives.
Could I get my records?
Records?
I'm thinking about going to school.
Can you just tell me what to do?
You know I can't do that. Besides, you made it.
Made it where?
Right where you're supposed to be.
I'm gonna die.
Because up until recently, representation of indigenous people has been problematic in Hollywood.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's right.
Come on, what is this?
Yeah, maybe y'all will think twice next time before taking off and not telling anybody.
AKA running away. Do you realize how worried we were about you guys?
From the silent era until the 1960s, especially in westerns, they had been portrayed as the public enemy. By late 20th century, that may have changed, but still, the roles have been mostly that of the exotic outsider.
I pay for that hair bleach, I pay for that liquid eyeliner, all them chains you're wearing, got those.
On top of all that, at times, it's been white actors who played the roles of Native Americans. Reservation Dogs broke that vicious circle. Not only does it have an all-Native American cast, but it's also the first show to have an all-indigenous crew and writers. That's why fans are sorry its third season will be the last. But the creative team say the story is too important to drag out, and that the audience was supposed to witness a transitional moment in the lives of the characters. And transitions don't last forever. In the show, the group grieved over the death of one of their friends, and they all did it in their own way, which caused them to drift apart. But they finally get back together and are ready to face the future. Reviews predict that the show's ending will create a vacuum in multi-ethnic representations, but hope that the standards it's set so far won't stand alone for long.
Being good or bad is a choice. It's that simple.
This time between us ain't over.
Most animations that flood multiplexes are big spectacles with larger-than-life sounds. But now, a new feature from the company dubbed the Irish Studio Ghibli is receiving praise for its more gentle approach. And it also has an important message or two to boot.
I've someone I'd like you to meet. Isabel, Marvin, and Phoenix. They're new to Puffin Rock.
Puffin Rock and the new friends finds the animal inhabitants of an island welcome newcomers to their home, and they go on a journey to find the last egg of the season before a gathering storm arrives. Along the way, the characters get to explore their Irish homeland and form new bonds. The message of the animation is simple: friendship and knowing your environment. The storytelling also happens to be fitting. There are no over-the-top voice actors. No drawn-out jokes fill the running time either. It's all done with an acclaimed style of animation that made the TV show it's based on a hit. Critics call that style a fantasia filled with treats of nature. That shouldn't come as a surprise, since the company behind the picture, Cartoon Saloon, is called the true heir to Japan's Studio Ghibli precisely for that reason. Reviews say its latest offering is charming and timely, and that the film also expands its message by tackling important issues like refugees and the climate crisis.
We're having a meeting about saving our burrows.
The filmmakers say they felt the need to tell this story, since new children are arriving in Ireland from all over the world.
You can come out now. Everyone here is friendly.
And as for the environmental themes, it felt natural to include them, since the characters happen to be animals. So far, the feature has received the passing grade. And that's no big surprise, given that Puffin Rock, provides a different animation aesthetic for those who don't necessarily need larger-than-life spectacles to get the message.
Friends stick together, no matter what. Puffin Pals? Puffin Pals! Forever and always keep you safe.
François Truffaut made movies about relationships, but despite dabbling in matters of the heart, the French filmmaker changed lanes in 1983 to make an unconventional thriller. And in our movie almanac, Alijan explains how the film not only makes a statement on the genre, but also pays tribute to the famed master of suspense.
Commencez pas à chercher de mauvaises excuses, hein? Je vous rappelle que la dernière fois que je suis allée à la banque demander votre relevé de compte, ils ont refusé et que le fondé de pouvoir m'a dit carrément d'aller me faire cuire un œuf. Les arguments ne tiennent pas debout. Je me plaindrai à mon mari. Eh bien, c'est le moment ou jamais, il vient d'arriver, je vous le passe. C'est Madame Bercel. Vite!
In Confidentially Yours, a real estate agent is accused of murders he didn't commit.
Oui, c'est vrai, on entend comme des trompettes.
And it's up to his adventure-seeking secretary to prove his innocence.
Comment ça, tu dois rester à Nice? Encore 3 jours?
Let's look at the ingredients of this mystery story. Wrongfully accused man, check. Female partner helping him clear his name. Uneasy atmosphere, check and check. These are the basic story elements that make some of Alfred Hitchcock's classic thrillers, like North by Northwest and The 39 Steps.
Elle est nerveuse, mais elle n'aurait pas été inventée une chose pareille.
Elle l'a inventée.
En tout cas, elle s'entendait très bien avec mon ancienne secrétaire.
Écoutez-moi, Monsieur Vercel, votre prochaine secrétaire, faites-la choisir pour votre femme, ça serait préférable pour tout.
But Confidentially Yours does not belong to the filmography of the master of suspense. Instead, it belongs to François Truffaut's. He's a director who dedicated his life's work to talk about relationships, and they're each considered classics. So it's surprising that a filmmaker known for films that focus on romance would tackle the thriller. Well, for those who don't know, Truffaut is a big fan of Hitch, and that appreciation goes a long way. So much so that he even produced a thick book of interviews with the man. Critics say that book, published in 1966, helped Hitchcock become recognized as an auteur filmmaker in America, even though he was already a blockbuster director.
Quand le roi par bonheur était un roi de débauche, les femmes des seigneurs, lorsqu'elles ne sont pas gauches, les servent de roi.
Voilà, je dois quitter la ville cette nuit même, et je compte sur vous pour tenir la chance de mon absence. Oh, il faut accorder vos violons. Ce matin, vous me renvoyez, ce soir, vous me confiez la boutique. Écoutez, Barbara, je suis dans l'embarras.
And with Confidentially Yours, Truffaut pays him a cinematic tribute. The camera and the editing builds the tension. The noirish atmosphere adds to it all. The film is even shot in black and white.
Moi, le haïr. Oh non, hélas, bien au contraire.
But the relationship scenes of the movie are handled with care in true Truffaut fashion. Thus, they steal the limelight. In return, that dissolves all sense of danger in the film. And it's this unique mix of romance and thriller, and the way it's approached by Truffaut, which makes Confidentially Yours a unique entry within a genre known for its conservative conventions.
Marie-Christine? Dites-moi, Barbara, est-ce que vous me croyez maintenant?
Oui.
Et est-ce que la police peut me croire?
Non.
That's it for this episode of Showcase. I'm Esra Dürüst from me and the whole team here in Istanbul. Thanks so much for watching and bye for now.